Welcome back to Black Bear Forge and part 2 of forging a wrapped eye axe. Last week in part 1 we did all of the rough forging and got this wrapped, and it looks like things don't line up quite perfectly. That's pretty common, and you have a couple of options to get these to line up, and it is better to get everything to line up before you forge weld. The first option would be to cut it hot at the anvil. You can use a chisel and just follow the profile you need to, get everything cut and trimmed that way. Or you can grind it. Since this is cold, I'm going to go ahead and grind it. And I'm going to use an angle grinder to do that. And the reason I'm choosing an angle grinder today is really just to keep the tooling to a fair minimum for this project. Typically, I would do this under a power hammer and I would grind it at the belt grinder. But not everybody has a power hammer and not everybody has a belt grinder. So I'm going to try not to use those bigger, more expensive tools. Forge, hammer, anvil, and an angle grinder isn't too out of the question for most small shops. But like I say, you can cut it with a hot chisel. I'm going to go ahead and do the grinding on this, get it ready to forge weld, and I'm going to do the same thing with the cutting edge that we forged out the last time. Then we'll be ready to weld up the axe and do the final forging. I'm just going to start with a cut-off disc, and I'm going to cut as much of this away. Then I'll go to either a hard wheel or a flap disc to clean up the final profile. Before we get to forge welding, I want to put some barbs on the back of the cutting edge so that it has a better chance of staying in place while we forge weld it. We'll actually forge weld the axe in several steps. We'll do the part right up by the eye where we created those shoulders, get that welded well, then we'll insert the cutting edge. But I just want to have the cutting edge ready when we get to that point. And to do this, we just start with a hot chisel. And working at a bit of an angle, we can cut little teeth going one direction, and coming back the opposite side and opposite angle, we can cut teeth going the other direction. You end up with little S-curves all across the cutting blade. And the idea is that these little barbs will hold that in place for us. Now I'm just going to set that aside and we'll get our axe head brought up to heat. So I'm going to put a little bit of flux in there to help clean out the weld. Even though I'm not going to weld this in, I'm still going to flux it to keep scale from building up in it. Okay, so that welds up right by the eye and gets a nice clean eye right there. We'll drift that to finish it at some point, but we're going to finish welding this up and we'll put the bit in for the next heat. I'm just going to stand this up in the vise real quick and open up the spot for the cutting edge. Then you can tell that's welded because it is not separating down very far. That's just what we want. Insert the cutting edge. That would be the self-ejecting vise, but that's pretty good. We'll heat that up a little bit and drive that in a little further. I'm going to drive that in until it's pretty much flush. Give it just a little tap to make sure it's in good contact everywhere. Right now I'm just using borax for my flux. It melts and gets in there good and deep. After this initial weld, I'll probably go to the Iron Mountain flux that doesn't make such a mess. And back in the fire. I'm going to start back at the back of the opening so I can work any flux and impurities out the front as I forge this. Once it starts to cool off, it's back in the fire. And then I move forward about a half a hammer's width for the next heat. Wire brush and flux every other heat. There's enough flux in there usually to last a heat. Now I've overheated the edge a little bit at the outer portion, so that'll all have to be ground back. But that's sort of to be expected. The tool steel does burn at about the point where the mild steel is at welding heat. So it's a careful balancing act to get everything just right. That's also one of the reasons I really prefer to weld axes like this in the gas forge. It gets a more even heat and you can get it set just to the point that it's hot enough for the mild steel to weld, but not quite hot enough for the tool steel to burn, and things usually work out a little bit better that way. But you don't have to have a gas forge. In fact, a lot of people don't like welding in a gas forge. So it's doable either way. People have been welding axes in coal forges for centuries, so let's get back to it. Each heat we work closer to the tip. It's also a good time to go to the horn and start reducing the middle of the axe body here. That helps to shape the blade. It also upsets some material down into the weld so that when you come back again you get a better weld. Hope that makes sense. So essentially what I've just done there is this is now thicker right along the edges. So when I hammer flat in the next welding heat, I'm forcing more material right into that seam, and that helps that seam disappear very nicely. I'm really pretty comfortable with the weld on this. At this point I'm just making sure it's been refined and we're thinning the axe blade out at welding heat. It's going to take some trimming where I've overheated at the edge. But luckily once it's back into that weld protected by the mild steel, that won't be an issue anymore. In general, I'm very happy with the weld on this. I'm going to go ahead and turn it around and drift the eye next. We may show a couple of different drifts as part of this process just so you can see what the options are. This is a very small one, easier to forge. This is where you find out if your eye weld is good. because if it's not, you'll split it open while you're driving that drift in. I'm going to do that from both sides. Now a longer drift like this one from Brent Bailey is nice because you can actually hold on to it while you're drifting and don't have to deal with a slippery pair of tongs. This also helps you use it to line up the axe blade, check for twists and bows. Just make sure everything is shaped just the way you want it. Try to put the drift in from a different side each time. So once from the top, once from the bottom. You want to create an hourglass shaped eye in the long run. This is your opportunity to clean up the pole and make it symmetrical. Eventually the drift will get too hot to hold. And with the longer drifts, I cool them. The shorter drifts, I just let them get hot and then use tongs to pick them up. And it looks pretty good. Trying to put a touch mark on it. Make sure all your blade forging is done before you put the touch mark in. Also, I choose which is the top of the axe and which is the bottom so my touch mark reads correctly based on where the handle is. And frequently doing the touch mark puts a little bow in it, so one last straightening. And of course, the very last thing that I want to do with this is bring it back up to temperature, a dull red, and let it normalize. Then we'll be ready to grind it. And after it's ground to the final shape, it'll be time to harden and temper. But I think that'll be the third video in our series on forging a wrapped eye axe. So I hope you have time in your day to get out to your shop. Be safe, wear your safety glasses. We'll see you for the next one.